Hi everyone, welcome to Sew Like Dotty. I'm Alison and today is Friday sews. So it's time to catch up with a couple of makes from this week. I've still got one ongoing, so I'm going to save that. So I've got two new things that I've made and a couple of lovely sewing gifts that I've received from friends. So I think, well, we'll start with what I'm wearing because I continuously forget to do this. So this is the Atelier Brunette the hoodie pattern without the hoodie. This pink, pale pink French terry is from Pound Fabrics. I made it a little while ago. I love it. It's the biggest size. There's plenty of ease in it. A lot of people find it quite big, but I find it gorgeous. And this colour is just perfect for me. I'm dressed quite simply because I've been doing a bit of sewing. Once I've recorded this, I'm heading off to the Metro Centre and doing a little bit of shopping. We're taking Carl's mum out for tea and I've got my eyebrows threaded. So if I look a bit bare of makeup, it's because this all needs to get attacked this afternoon. But you don't really need to know about my personal grooming. You're here for the sewing. So let's crack on with that. So it's time. Spring is in the air. Are you feeling like that? I mean, I wasn't feeling like yesterday. It was a bit gloomy. But today the sun is out again. So it's time for one of my favourite makes. You might remember this was in my April sewing plans. And yeah, well, it just had to happen really. So big kisses to my favourite, probably, I think, dress now, which is the Fibre Mood Judy. Now, if you've not come across this before, and sorry if you've seen me make 1,000 of them. Sorry, I've just noticed a staple. Staple's gone. Okay, so the detail that I like about this dress, two things. I love the sleeves. So they are a voluminous sleeve, but they're not puffy. So although they are gathered at the top, it's quite gentle at the top. I prefer it in a viscose. I've made it in a cotton lawn, but 100% my preference is a viscose for it. And one of the things I really love are just the details. So it's got this curve here, which comes to a V and then that goes up. So it's very simple really, but I just love that shape on it. It's very loose. It's kind of my go-to. Like today I've got this on with my lane pants or chucking a Judy dress on, a pair of leggings if I still need it. It feels very like casual around the house, but equally like I could put my trainers on with it and go out somewhere and feel quite nice in it as well. So size range for Fibre Mood, if you've not come across them before, people ask a lot of questions about Fibre Mood. So one of the things that concerns people is that the seam allowance isn't included. So if you buy the magazine, and which has loads of patterns in, you've got to add the seam allowance off, and I can't deal with the tracing. So I did used to get the magazine, but the pattern's all crisscross and my mind just goes, can't deal with that. I know some people can, I can't. But also you've got to add the seam allowance in. Now, if it's the side of a skirt and you need to add a 1 centimetre seam allowance down and it's a straight line, that's a bit easy. But when you get into curves and details, no, not for me. However, on the website, you can download the sizes, and then when you go to print it off, if you go into Adobe, you can select whether you want to have a stitch line and a seam allowance. Now, I know what the seam allowance is. I don't need that printing on the pattern, so I only ever go for the seam allowance for my printing. So the size range is really good. It goes from a 140 centimetre chest up to a 172 chest, and they're covered by sizes in this dress extra small to extra large, which would be a UK size 4 to a 32. So there is a generous size range. It is oversized. You can wear it smaller if you want to. And I often use these sleeves in other things. You know, I like to steal things and use them in other things. So should I show you it? I will take some pictures after and drop them in, but let me just grab it for you now. So this is a fabric that I bought from Roy's Material World, who isn't online, and I got it at the Harrogate show last November, the Knit and Stitch show, as it's now called. If you don't know, that was the Knitting and Stitching show. I think we all used to call it the Knit and Stitch anyway. So what have I done? So I've done a lot of it on my machine. I started this at Sawtoon last week, so I had my FAF 620 there with me. I kind of do everything in reverse. We've had this whole discussion this week on Sew Virtual and in real life at Sew Socials. Are you a rule follower? So you follow instructions, all of the steps, can't deviate from it? Or are you a rule breaker and you just kind of go off piste and don't put notches in or do any of that? I'm definitely in the latter category. That won't surprise you if you follow me regularly. So most of it has been done on there. I did take my Baby Lock and Lighten is my social go-to overlocker. So I did this lovely rolled hem on there. I mean, how gorgeous is that? It's just a lovely finish, and I can't be bothered with pressing all of that big hem on a floaty skirt. And a lot of it is just done on the overlocker. So where I've attached the cuffs, I've just attached that on the overlocker. With the Judy, it doesn't say to interface the sleeve cuff, but on the Fabric Godmother flare dress it does, and I actually find it beneficial to do it on this, so that's the only extra thing that I do. I do all of the gathering, so all of the gathering around the cuff, all of the gathering on the sleeve head, and all of the gathering on the skirt is all done on the overlocker. And like, I had very little extra gathering to do. I did it on a stitch length of 4 on the overlocker, differential of 2, and then I've stitched the neckband on, and then I've just finished that on my cover stitch machine. So I've put a nice triple cover stitch machine on. I did put a label in, but it was on the wonk. I mean, why do they always go on the wonk for me? Probably because I don't take enough time to set them up properly. So I've snipped that out, but I know that little scratchy bit there means it's the back. And yeah, I've just pressed that down. It's quite a creasy fabric, but the creases drop out easily when it's hung up. So I think I'll pop that on and let you have a look at it. I'll be back in a minute. So there we go. Might have been longer than a minute in my world, but I'm sure it wasn't for you. So I'll just pop my necklace in. You can see it's a lovely, nice fit around the neckline, not too high up, not too low. And just to show you where those sleeves go. So as you can see, the sleeves are just elbow length, which is perfect for me. Obviously, if you've got smaller arms than me, you could bring that cuff in a little bit more if you wanted to kind of give it a little bit more of a gathered in effect. You can see it's quite a busy fabric, but I think you can see that V detail here, and it's just sort of loose just under my bust there. So it is a floaty dress. It's meant to be a floaty dress, and I absolutely adore it. Let me just turn you around. There we go, you can get a really good look at it there. So plenty of swooshing. I mean, I keep thinking this is grey, but people have been saying it's like a grey blue. It's very spring-like. The colours are very pretty. It's just slightly more vibrant in real life than it is on camera. And lengthwise, it's couple of inches off my ankle, but obviously if I'd done a different hem it would have been shorter, so don't know how far back I can go. There's the finished length there. So that is the Judy dress, and I hope you like it very much. So back round to regular wear. The other make that I've been making this week, I actually kind of gave myself 2 days holiday, so I'm quite happy with what I've made. I don't feel like I need to be on a production line. And I've got a jacket, a denim, not a denim jacket, but a jacket cut out in denim that I'm going to start on today's Thursday, so over the weekend. But I actually kind of thought, you know what, I want something easy breezy to sew at Sewtoon yesterday afternoon. So I had a little look in my stash and I had 2 pieces of fabric. So I had a bamboo jersey, which is the make I'm going to show you next week. That I've just got a bit of finishing off to do on it. And I had some cream jersey that I got for a project in the winter that I didn't end up doing. And I think it was a cotton jersey from Pound Fabrics, I think. If I can find a link to it, I'll pop it in the description box. So I've had this pattern for absolutely ages. I think I'm probably the last person on the planet to make it. Most people have made about 1,000 of them and it's not a bestie bag. So it is the Tammy Handmade Nair Tee. I know, how have I not made it yet? And I think the thing that stopped me from making it is that if you know me, you know that I hate this flabby bit on my arms, not on Tammy's arms, my arms. And obviously the t-shirt looks like it fits. up here. But I decided to just cut 2 out. So I literally stuck the 7 pages together. I mean, 10 pages sticking together is about my limit. So I managed that, did that, cut it out. I cut it in a size 18. It's so easy. You've probably made it before. The front and back are one pattern piece, and then you've got sort of, it says a cuff, but it's really just something to lengthen the sleeve, hem it up, and a neckband. And really simple to do the neckband because the front and the back neck are exactly the same. So you literally just quartering the neck, bang, straight, no adjustment made for a scoop at the front or anything. I know Paula on Sew Virtual was saying she's taken the neck in a little bit. I'm actually finding it okay, and I decided just to give it a go. I couldn't remember what people had said, whether they'd said to lengthen it, so I just went with the pattern. But actually, I've been really surprised. Really like it. So this is it in white. So because it's in white, it's hard for you to sort of see the detail, but hopefully you can. So this is the back and this is the front. So I was downstairs this morning because my daughter was using the room, and I used my Reflex on my faff machine. Now, it was my fault. I forgot to lengthen the stitch, but it just didn't look right. So I've come back upstairs, I've unpicked it, and I've done a triple cover stitch around the neck. So hopefully you can see that there. I'll show you what the inside of that looks like as well. So it's nice and neat on the inside. I've also done that on the hem. So I've put a reasonable hem in. Reasonable, but I had overlocked it because I didn't know if I was going to stitch it, but I've done a triple cover stitch on there. So I've got the Euphoria cover stitch from Baby Lock, but that's having a little holiday downstairs at the moment because I've got the Primo machine on loan for a little while, so I actually did that on the Primo. And the cuffs. Now, I didn't even take the instructions. I just thought it's a t-shirt. I've made hundreds. And then I got to the cuff bit and I was like, do these point up or point down? And by this time I'd sewn this part together. And then Tamlin said, you meant to sew it on before that. And I was like, oh, well, never mind. So I just lined them up like I would putting a sleeve in. It's easy. I know there's not a lot to say about it, but I do like it. So I will pop my trousers back on, and I'll take a picture with this on, because actually I think because of the shape of the sleeve, it's coming to about, sorry, I'll just put it down. It's coming to about here on me. So although it doesn't cover this bit that I don't like, it covers it enough and it's quite wide, and it actually looks okay, like really okay. So my gut feeling was I cut 2 out, and if I don't like them, I'll wear them as pyjama tops. But actually, if they look okay, that kind of floaty trousers, plateau pants, vest, t-shirt top, and a shirt over in the summer that I like, I'd probably wear them for that. So I'm pleased that I've got something used from my stash that I didn't really have planned to use from my stash. So those 2 are my makes for this week. 1 new dress, 1 new t-shirt, all finished and done. Happy days. So the other things that I mentioned, I got a couple of, well, I got 1 thing through the post and 1 thing given to me. So we're working out a little schedule. Paula, who's Sew Paula on Instagram, and Jo, who's Jo Sews. I'll put Jo's name in. I can't remember her Instagram handle. So Paula and I were talking about going to the Festival of Quilts this year. She started as a quilter and got into dressmaking. Obviously, I've been a dressmaker and I've started getting into quilting as well. And yeah, I just fancied going. It's at the end of July. And she'd scheduled a little trip to Birmingham because Jo lives there, to go to Barry's in the rag market. And she thought she'd done it when I was going to have finished work, but I was still at work. So they went on a trip. And then I got a message saying, what's your favourite colour? And too late, you replied too late. And I literally had said to my daughter, there's no more parcels or anything to come. I can't remember where I was going. And then all of a sudden there was a knock on the door. And I genuinely did it when I opened this parcel. And it just made me more excited for the trip in July, because we're going to do the Festival of Quilts. Barry's will have closed by then, but we're going to do the rag market in Gusregani, I think. Going to go for a couple of days. And we're going to put it out to the Sew Virtual communities, so other people want to come, of course they can. So are you ready? How much of me, not just in colour but in style, is this fabric? I mean, hello. Rah. Literally, can you imagine me? I was like, oh. Now, I thought there was 3 meters, but I was talking to Paula last night and there's 4. I've not measured it. I just got really excited about it and put it in the washing machine straight away. So I have got a plan, but I'm not going to share that yet because I'm going to share it with you in my May sewing plans, because I know exactly what I'm going to make with it. I thought it was a viscose at first, but I actually think it might be a viscose chalice. Now, it would be rude for me to ask how much it was, but I have seen what Joe and Paula got at the rag market, and I know people kind of go, oh, quality, but let me tell you, I've not seen anything that's a poor quality. They got some ribbed jersey for 50p a metre for twirls, but they know what they're using that for twirls. But yeah, things were coming up at like £2, £3, I think maybe £4 a metre. But oh, my goodness, hello. I just, honestly, I'm like, I'll just put it there for now. And then my lovely friend Vicky, who is the Fibro Sewist on Instagram and also YouTube, but she's having a little holiday break for YouTube at the moment. I think I've said it before, and she knows I feel like this. I just feel like Vicky was somebody who was meant to come into my life at a certain time, and maybe me for her as well. And she brought a card in to Sew Tune on Sunday. Obviously, these are like retirement gifts, and this. Oh, so it is a Liberty sewing box. I know that you can get them. I've seen them. I know John Lewis sell them on Liberty. But I actually had a dress on that was almost the same colours as well when she gave me it. And I've put a few things inside. I've done small little hexes in some Liberty. I made a little dinky baby pin cushion for in here as well out of some Liberty. Now, she said, oh, I was going to give you it, and then I realised you were using your big one behind, and I was, but it's kind of too big to keep taking up and downstairs, where this is perfect. So I've sort of had to change around. So I've got my Liberty Betsy scissors in here for cutting fabric, my embroidery, all of that sort of thing. I won't go on too much about quilting this week. I don't want any of you to switch off. But I've just done it, not loads. So virtual on Tuesday night it was such a great session. We had 23 people on. It was buzzing. Absolutely loved it. And there's no way I could take my eye off the ball to do anything, but I've got quite a bit done. But then look what she put in the bottom. Now, Vicky loves Liberty as much as I do. So there's some bias binding in a Liberty print, and then all of these beautiful, gorgeous bits of scrap from things that are Vicky's made in the past. But Liberty scrap to me is like, I don't know, what's it like? The best quality chocolate. That's all I can say. That's the most random thing I've probably ever said about comparing fabric. There's nothing I can compare Liberty fabric to, apart from Jeanette, who's Nettie Hayes Sews on Instagram. She's one of the girls who comes on. She's from New Zealand. She told me Spotlight in New Zealand were selling Liberty Tanalon for £7 a metre, and she bought loads. Of course, I went on just to see if I could get it online, and I couldn't. I was thinking, well, how much would I pay for postage on that? But look at these. So these are all things, obviously, that I can do hexes and stuff with. I love this Betsy print. Absolutely gorgeous. So, yeah, it's like treasure inside treasure with more treasure and an extra layer of treasure on. Yeah. So, Vicky, I hope you're feeling a bit better, and much love to you, to Joe, and to Paula for those gifts. Like I always say, unexpected but massively appreciated. And yeah, what a lovely first week of retirement I've had. I've given myself time off. I've had a lovely time with my husband and my daughter, and yeah, nice family time planned for Easter. Hope you do too, with some gorgeous sewing planned in as well. And I'll look forward to catching up with you soon. Could be Sunday or Monday, not sure when. I have got something planned that I'll probably record tomorrow or Saturday, and I will catch up with you really soon. So take care, everyone.